The world wasn't watching Burkina Faso until it had no choice. When leadership is honest, action is bold, and people believe again. Anything is possible. Captain Ibrahim Traore didn't just cancel contracts. He canceled excuses. He proved that integrity is not a luxury, it's a necessity. He reminded us that Africa's greatness won't be gifted. It must be built brick by brick, road by road, mind by mind. Africa is rising, and this is only the beginning. The time is now to change our mindset. Academics here must agree that we have fallen short of our country's expectations. We must seek forgiveness and ensure that our generation's mistakes are not repeated. To the youth, do not make the same errors. Dear kings, queens, ladies, and gentlemen, don't skip this video. Watch it from start to finish for another inspiring story from Burkina Faso. Captain Traore has canceled overpriced road tenders, some inflated by up to 100 times by the previous government. Instead, he purchased construction equipment, empowering young Burkinabe to build their nation's roads. This time, no Chinese, Europeans, or Americans are involved. It's the people of Burkina Faso constructing their own roads. A famous YouTuber, Woda Maya, visited Burkina Faso and described what's happening as a revolution that all of Africa can emulate. A leader who truly cares about his people delivers results. Can you believe that? From independence until recently, Burkina Faso had only 3,000 kilometers of paved roads. For context, Botswana had the same when the British left. But Burkina Faso, independent since 1960, stagnated under French influence and corrupt governance. Since Traore's leadership began, the government plans to pave 5,000 kilometers of roads annually, an incredible feat. How they purchased over 1,000 pieces of equipment, including excavators, graders, and bulldozers, owned by the state. The government now oversees construction, bypassing private companies that often delay projects. Young Burkinabe are trained to operate this equipment, building roads and factories themselves. This is a nation under construction, with entrepreneurs emerging and expressing unprecedented pride in their country. This is why Africa's youth support Captain Ibrahim Traore. These aren't dreams. They're tangible results of visionary leadership. Let's dive deeper into this transformation. Africa is changing through a quiet revolution, not with weapons or foreign aid, but with principles, bold action, and a refusal to be exploited. At the center is Captain Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso's interim president. A year ago, few knew his name. Now, he's making history. One of his boldest moves was canceling overpriced road tenders worth billions, some inflated 100 times their actual cost, and launching a state-led construction initiative. A government building its own roads in Africa is not just rare, it's revolutionary. This isn't just about concrete or asphalt. It's about sovereignty and reclaiming a nation's destiny from decades of corruption, exploitation, and dependency. Burkina Faso's story is one every African, young leader, and global observer needs to hear. Like many African nations, Burkina Faso has struggled with infrastructure. Roads that should take months to build often take years, with skyrocketing costs and subpar results. For decades, governments awarded contracts to foreign companies at inflated prices, enriching a few while the masses remained in poverty. Investigations revealed contracts priced up to 100 times their real cost. Systemic theft, normalized by corruption. In 2022, amid public frustration and rising insecurity, Traore emerged. His rise was not just political, but symbolic of a broader African awakening. By canceling corrupt tenders, he saved money and made a statement. Africa doesn't need to be robbed to develop. His administration invested in state-owned machinery, employing and training local engineers and crews. Rural road construction, once stalled, is now progressing steadily. This approach is practical and visionary, challenging aid-based thinking and promoting self-reliance. Traore's fight against corruption extends beyond roads. Audits in mining, healthcare, and defense have exposed hidden contracts, with public oversight ensuring transparency. His strategy, transparency, empowerment, and results is a blueprint for Africa and beyond. Burkina Faso isn't among Africa's richest nations, making this story even more powerful. If a landlocked country facing security threats and limited resources can take control of its destiny, what's stopping others across Africa? Young people are watching, and the narrative is shifting. Leaders like Traore show that bold, principled moves can drive real change. State-led development is gaining momentum. Other countries are asking, why not train local talent? Why outsource everything? Why not reinvest in ourselves? Burkina Faso may be small, but its vision is monumental, echoing beyond its borders. The road building initiative creates career paths, training youth in engineering, logistics, and machine operation. Local technical schools are adapting curricula to meet new demands. Traore's government is building human capital, telling youth, "You are builders today, not just the future." This shift is revolutionary in a continent with staggering unemployment rates. The mental transformation is even more profound. For decades, Africans were told they must depend on others. Traore's actions challenge this, restoring dignity and possibility. Belief shapes behavior. If Africans believe in their potential, they innovate, take risks, and lead. This mental liberation accompanies physical transformation, signaling that Africa is learning to believe in itself again. The journey isn't over. The machines are rolling, corrupt contracts are dead, and roads are under construction. But this is just the start of a new development model born in Africa, by Africans, for Africans. Other nations are watching, citizens demanding transparency, and leaders facing pressure to act boldly or step aside. Burkina Faso has become a symbol, a case study, a spark. History may one day say that it was here, in this unlikely place, that Africa truly began to rise not by imitation, but by innovation. Africans are no longer waiting for Europeans, Chinese, or Americans to build our roads. What's happening in Burkina Faso is a wake-up call. It's possible for Africans to build their own infrastructure. For years, tenders went to foreign companies, but Traore's strategy buying equipment, training youth, and tasking them to build changes everything. If you build a poor road, you'll suffer the consequences yourself, as you'll use it. Unlike foreign firms that leave after completion, local builders are accountable, fostering quality and patriotism. This initiative boosts self-belief. If Burkina Faso succeeds, other African governments will follow, equipping young engineers and professionals to build infrastructure, create jobs, and retain wealth in the continent. It will inspire youth in Ghana, Tanzania, Uganda, and beyond to form construction companies, competing globally and within frameworks like the African Continental Free Trade Area or Agenda 2063. Projects like the Cape to Cairo Railway should be built by Africans, not outsourced. This approach creates jobs directly. Unlike foreign tenders that often exclude locals, it fosters entrepreneurship. As experienced youth form companies and boost patriotism, as builders prioritize quality for their own people, accountability increases. Two corrupt politicians can no longer hide behind overpriced foreign contracts. Captain Ibrahim Traore is a game changer, revolutionizing infrastructure, education, agriculture, science, and politics. Africans must support these revolutions and decolonize development. Other leaders hire foreign companies. But in Burkina Faso, youth are building their nation. This avoids corruption tied to foreign tenders, where politicians pocket commissions. Traore's model, equipping and trusting locals, proves Africans can build high-quality infrastructure with the same tools as others. If Burkina Faso succeeds, it will expose politicians looting the continent through corrupt tenders. Other nations must follow, empowering their engineers and professionals. We don't see African companies building roads in Europe or Asia. Why should they build ours? Africans must be trusted globally, and Burkina Faso's youth have a chance to prove this by building world-class roads. To the youth of Burkina Faso, don't let Africa down. The continent is watching. Use this opportunity to build quality roads at low cost, showing the world what Africans can do. Other countries, Namibia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Nigeria must adopt this strategy. Despite resistance from corrupt elites, young Africans must push for inclusion in mega projects like Agenda 2063, ensuring we build our railways, bridges, and cities. This is a call to action. Share this story across Africa and the diaspora. Captain Ibrahim Traore is changing Burkina Faso and inspiring a united Africa. We are proud to be African because of leaders like him. Stay empowered. Mama Africa. Thank you.